Back here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We are joined by the new head coach of the Duke Blue Devils football team, Manny Diaz. Coach, thank you very much for taking the time. Speaking of new, let's start with the new staff. Where are you in putting together the guys that you're going to be depending on to help you run the program?
Yeah, feel really good about the staff we're building. Got some that'll probably be, becoming public. It's a little bit sensitive at times because you have guys that are coaching in bowl games. And it's the weird thing in our calendar. You're trying to get the right guys, not disrupt other people's seasons. But I feel good about the direction. Getting all the pieces in the next short time frame here is going to be very exciting for our future success.
Can you let us behind the scenes of that? Because you see it with the transfer portal, right? Guys that are in the portal have to make the decision whether to contribute to a bowl or make themselves available for their next opportunity. How do you go about, hey, I need my assistant coaches recruiting. I need them in the portal. I need them out and about. But also, you just mentioned you don't want to upset seasons that they might be leaning on.
Yeah, and well, look, you have to have overriding principles. The first thing, you want to get it right more than you want to get it done fast. And you want to get the best guys in because you want to feel really good by next September of the staff you have, not so much, was it in on December 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. So this is a new phenomenon. You really weren't seeing assistant coaches change jobs before the bowls ended. This is really almost in the last couple of years. Usually the bowls will play out before our national convention in January. That's kind of when all the movement would happen. So, I don't think it's good for our game. I think the players who do play in bowls deserve the right to have, their coaches coach them. That being said, it's here. So, but it does make the sort of the courtship a little bit unusual.
Manny Diaz, Duke football head coach, joining us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Coach, so break it down for us, right? I'm sure, however many days it's been since you accepted the job, it probably feels like a year and 10 minutes at the very same time. How have you kind of prioritized? What have been the things that you've been spending most of your time on since taking the job?
Well, number one, it's the locker room here. I mean, we've got to keep this team together. That's always going to be an issue going forward in college football. The threat of guys leaving is real. So one, you want the guys here to feel valued, welcome, a part of the future of the program, what it means to be, a member of the Duke football team and to be a Duke student athlete. After that, we got a great recruiting class we've got to finish on. And then you've got to hire staff at the same time. Oh, and also, by the way, you're also looking for the right guys we can bring in the portal. So there's really four fronts that you're in a constant battle on, but nothing more important than the guys that we have here.
And are you able to evaluate the guys that are already on was that something you came in with? Did you already, I know you played some of them, going back when they were very young at Miami, but how quickly were you able to evaluate all of the guys that were already on the team and decide what their role would be going forward and maybe even communicate that to them?
Yeah, no, you don't make those type of evaluations in December. What I mean, to me, one, you want everybody that's poured in their blood, sweat, and tears to this program to feel that they're valued and they have the opportunity to stay. And then beyond that, even going forward, you never really look back and evaluate guys off of old film because you never know what they were asked to do and whatever. It's a fresh start for everybody. I believe this even, between my first and second years at DC at Penn State, we always say what happened last year doesn't matter. It doesn't, because it doesn't matter. You see it every year. With programs where they'll be, high one year, low the next, or vice versa. So every year exists in its own vacuum, and we'll come back and we'll evaluate our guys by how they attack our offseason program and academics in January. And then we'll work to spring ball, and you keep adding layers to what you can evaluate them off of. But it's always looking forward, not looking backwards.
We're talking with Manny Diaz, brand new Duke head football coach. Coach, I know you're making the media rounds, and I appreciate you for adding us to that list. But I did see one that probably stood out on the calendar, Coach K's Sirius XM show. Was that almost like a Godfather going and kissing the ring and making sure everybody saw that, you're accepted into the Duke family?
I think it's more genuine than that. It was just, to me, it was surreal. It's a surreal experience. You're talking about one of the titans in the coaching fraternity, and then a man that cares so deeply for Duke and what he's done for this university, and just to see that he still has that same love and wants Duke to be great and excellent in all things. So just to sit with a coach and to be able to share ideas and pick his mind, I mean, that's something that anybody in this profession would beg to have the opportunity to do. And the fact that I was able to do that was definitely a highlight for me in my career.
What does he think about aggressive on third downs? Did you get into the weeds with it?
We're going to come back and get through the exactly the play calling, but I actually we I mean he doesn't have to. I've watched his teams play. I mean they're going to get after you on defense and they're going to suffocate you and they're going to. We actually had a conversation about just the relentless pressure and making the other team eventually crack under that pressure, which really defensively in my career, that's what we've tried to emulate everywhere we've been.
We're talking with Manny Diaz, Duke football head coach here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline on The Drive. So much of the conversation since you've been named as the next head coach has been about your experience in the ACC, your time in Miami, and what you've learned and are bringing to this job. I want to look at like how you've seen Duke, right? Because you faced them a handful of times as the head coach at another ACC program. What differences stand out to you from the program you coached against? Not even that long ago, but a program that's taken quite a few strides since those days.
Well, one, going against a David Cutcliffe coach team, always had a lot of respect for Cut, and being a defensive guy going against his offenses, you knew that you're going to go into a really well orchestrated, well coached offense, usually with really really good quarterback play. Then you saw it the last couple of years from afar with what Mike Elko did here. But I see a lot of David Feely when I watch a team play. I saw David Feely's impact in the weight room, and that's why I was so excited that David, chose to stay here at Duke. And the players understood. I mean, the players guys came into me, in one-on-one meetings and said, David Feely is Duke football, and that was great to hear. So, that was a big attraction for me to come here and see. I always believe this. I believe that a coach's job is to show what a place is capable of. Not the other way around. A place is not designed to show what a coach is capable of. And I think that's, between the success at Cut and Mike have had, it's just showing what Duke is capable of. It's not a one-man show. It never is in this profession. And I'm excited now to continue to extract excellence out of Duke.
How it's interesting that you phrase it that way. This place of Duke, what is it capable of? Because you mentioned keeping the kind of locker room together and all those sorts of things kind of being your main priority. I see Moore go into the portal and come back out of the portal, and immediately his teammates are saying there's something about the locker room. There's something about this place. Have you been able to experience that and really dive into that in your short period yet?
Just talking to the young men and they talk about the bonds and the chemistry here and how close they are as a team. That's what attracted me here, because I had heard those stories before I took the job. So that's what you have to have. And if you have that, then you have a platform to attack championships. And that's really what the whole goal is about.
And I know you have a hard out coming up here, but you mentioned you're assembling the staff. You're excited about some of the guys with the bowl games. I'd be remiss and the fans would get on me if I didn't. Can we get a hint? Like, there's some names that are being rumored out there as maybe offensive coordinator being brought in. How close are those decisions to being done, and how close are they to an announcement?
What I would say is this: there are decisions that have been done. The announcement thing. A lot of times, there's just different types of logistical things that have to go through. So. I think you'll start to see things the dominoes start to fall in the near future. So I feel very confident about it. And to me, the way my brain works, the vision is right. We're getting the right type of people. I know what I want the offense to look like. I know what I want the defense to look like. So I feel very confident that the people that we've been talking to believe in those same things and share the same values.
Was it kind of I talk about the list. It seems like every coordinator who knows that, they're in the mix for some head coaching jobs, maybe it's their personal little black book in their pocket. But have you had guys that you've wanted on your staff that, they were your first call?
Well, of course. I mean, you always carry that list around, obviously the previously being a head coach, or if you're going to get a head coaching job, look, you're only as strong as your staff. And the responsibility that I have is who you bring into the program, either as players or staff, not just in terms of their talent as coaches, but who they are as people. And I always say, coaching is not fantasy football. It's not just you just add all these robots. I mean, these are human beings that have to be aligned, that have to believe in the same things. The best defenses I've ever coached this past year at Penn State's a great testimony of that. I mean, we had a phenomenal defensive staff, guys that were all for each other, great alignment. So as a head coach, you've got to create that, number one, throughout the program, but certainly in the offense and defensive staff room the same way, because, 5 accomplished coaches that believe in 5 different ways to move the football or stop somebody will be a disaster. So you got to get the fit right.
Coach, we appreciate you for taking the time, and I'm looking forward to see what you're able to build in Durham. So good luck.
Okay. Thank you, Tim.